It is a pleasure and an honor to be attending one of Cohasset's premier art events at the South Shore Arts Center. I am here with Executive Director Patrice Maye and Santiago Hernandez. Patrice, the South Shore Arts Center was created over 60 years ago and has moved around throughout the years. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of this current space and how and why did you get involved?
Sure. So this space has been here since the late 80s, probably about 1988. It used to be an abandoned gas station. And so for the last 40 years, coming up, 35 years, we've had this gorgeous gallery space that we're standing in right now. I'm really thrilled about it. I became personally involved about 7 years ago when I became the executive director. I used to work in Boston at a place called Artists for Humanity, which employs young people in the arts. And I really wanted to make a difference in my area. I live in Scituate, but I wanted to make a difference in the South Shore and let South Shore kids know that arts are important here. It's a sports-focused area, as we know, but arts is alive, and for non-traditional students, for creative young people, it's really important that they know that they have a place to come to. So that's why I became involved, and I continue to remain involved because I'm inspired by people like Santiago Hernandez, who is not only an amazing artist, and his work is here today, he is a Cuban drummer. Which is really great, but he is part of our faculty, so he helps pay it forward not only to adults but to the young people that I was referencing earlier. And he recently joined our board of directors, and he's really helping push some of our visionary ideas forward. We're trying to be more innovative, and we're really trying to live up to our name to be South Shore Arts Center.
What is the theme of tonight's reception?
Tonight's reception is called Object Lesson, but I'm actually going to let Santiago, who curated the show, respond more depth.
Well, yes, Object Lesson is a play on words, and I've always been interested in a concept that relates to painting as an object, a physical object. So I do that with my work. I also work on canvases, and the artists that I chose for the show all work with different formats, breaking out of the typical rectangle, traditional rectangle of the painting, and also in terms of drawing, what I really wanted was a mix of different styles and approaches and techniques and media. So I think the artists really stepped up. I think the show looks great, and I'm so grateful to the artists for having, come on board with this concept and this vision. And I especially want to thank Patrice Maye for nudging me, because I've had this idea for a long time, and finally she convinced me to propose the show, and here it is.
What drew you to South Shore Arts Center, and why this particular art form for this exhibit?
I knew of the Art Center for many years. I've been here about 30 years, actually about 30 years ago. One of the first places I went to was the festival, the South Shore Art Center Festival. And recently, about 8 years ago, we moved to Weymouth, and so it was, in the neighborhood, and I would come to see shows, and then I thought, I'm a teacher, maybe I can teach a couple of courses, propose some classes and things like that, and I spoke to the education director. And so we started little by little teaching, and I love the people. I think the space is great. It's like a jewel, within the South Shore. This space could exist anywhere, and I think it's a terrific space for this kind of work, especially. That's, I guess, why I'm here and why I was drawn to it. Their education program is I like it. They work with adults here and with children and teens as well. If I had the kind of program that you provide here for teenagers when I was a kid, I would have been in heaven. I didn't have that when I was growing up. So I think it's just great, the South Shore Arts Center.
Thank you for taking your time to speak with me, Patrice and Santiago. Stay tuned as I talk to Patrice further about what the South Shore Arts Center has in store for us.
great question. So I think sort of to your point, there was a big crowd, and I always love to see a lot of people come through the South Shore Arts Center, especially when it's people who are new to us. And that was the case last night. So the curator is from Weymouth, but the other 5 artists in the show were all from Boston or Arlington, Somerville. So a whole new group of people came down and got to experience this space and learn about who we are and what we do. So I think that would probably be my favorite. That's always what I'm trying to do, sort of expand access and let people know that this is a community arts center and everyone's welcome.
And if you had a rough estimate, I don't know, off the top of your mind, how many people would you think attended last night?
Oh boy, so it's a circulating crowd. I'm not, all at once would be harder to say, but I would say 75, 80 people probably came through the evening.
Could you give us a little idea of the other events you have planned later this year that are coming up?
I would love to. So 2 weeks from today, we have a little party called Shake It Up. I always feel like the Art Center is always trying to shake things up, but this one is inspired by, there was a film in 2021, a documentary called Under the Volcano. It was about Sir George Martin, who produced the Beatles, but he also had a recording studio called Air Studios. It was in Montserrat, and obviously it was before the volcano came through. So this is playing homage to Under the Volcano. It'll have a Caribbean feel. There'll be some palm trees, some rum drinks, which you will not be entitled to drink, but I will. And the Sir George Martin produced the most iconic sounds of the 80s, so it's really a 1980s dance party. That's the part people have to remember. And Shake It Up is a nod to the Cars song, which probably older than you, but the song goes, shake it up. So that's happening in 2 weeks, but you probably do know about our arts festival. Yeah, this will be the 69th year, so it's even older than me, believe it or not. Yeah, so that's taking place Father's Day weekend, as always. That's at Cohasset Common, and we have a little preview event, a gala that happens the night before the festival actually kicks off. That's called our, aptly, preview party, and it will be under the tents. We are partnering with Palace Gallery in Newbury Street, so we're bringing Newbury Street to Cohasset. I'm pretty excited about that. And there'll be artists that, some of them are Art Basel artists from Miami, or rather showing at Miami, and they're going to be showing on Cohasset Common. I think that's a pretty neat thing that will be happening, but of course festival is festival. So we'll have 400 artworks under the main tent. We have a kids tent. We have a beer tent in partnership with Greenbush and Norwell Package and General Stores, several food trucks. In fact, we have a new Filipino food truck this year. Pretty excited about that. And we have about 80 craft exhibitors that they create what I call an art village all throughout the Common, wending their way through it. So it's an art immersion, pulsing sound stage. Last year we had Aldous Collins. I think he'll be coming back. Maybe Booty Vortex, don't hold me to it. But we're gonna have a great slate of performers, artwork. It's so much fun. And that's what's probably on tap for us.
Well, the Shake It Up special event sounds really fun and interesting. And of course, the festival is always fun and it's always a great experience. What would you most likely to convey the public about regarding South Shore Arts Center's goals and events?
Sure. So I always like to remind people it is South Shore Arts Center. Yes, we're physically sited in Cohasset. It's 143 TV that's filming as we're on Cohasset Cable News, but it's South Shore Arts Center. And our founders made an intentional choice to call us that because they wanted to show that we were going to be reaching out to all 45 communities south of Boston. And again, I'm going to talk about access. For me, at least, with my leadership and my vision, it's really important that we're talking about including everybody. And how does that look? Well, in some ways, every Wednesday, if you come here, we've got about 50 elementary school kids. You might remember doing that yourself. We have an artist in residence program, so that's free to the young people. We actually have a teen program that pays the young people. So I'm going to break the fourth wall for a minute, but it's really great that you're learning filmmaking and journalism, and you're doing that in partnership with 143 TV. We do something similar here at South Shore Arts Center. We have a teen program called the Inspired Eye, and it's also our Festival Arts Hours program, where it's invitational. So we invite teachers, art teachers from all of the communities in the South Shore to nominate young people to participate. They come in, they work on collaborative projects. I don't know if you've noticed some of the murals on the side of our building or behind the building where the trains go by. They were all made by teens. So teens, as you know, are capable of huge achievements, but people have to believe that they're capable of it. Why do we pay them? Because art has value in commerce. So that's really important to me. It has value in commerce here for adults, but also for young people. And they have a valuable contribution and a voice to make. So those are some of the key things I'd like to know, but I'd also like to talk about Art Center, why we're called South Shore Art Center. Yes, art is part of it, but center. We are a center for the community. It is a place where you can make art, learn art, exhibit it, and view it. So all of those things together, we have classes. We have classes from kids from 1 to 92, as Nat King Cole would say. We have the exhibits as we're experiencing. We're sitting in here. We eat lunch here every day. I get to be surrounded by this creativity. It's amazing. We have the festival, as we discussed, and we have these outreach programs. So there's a lot that's going on. And we do it all. And I think that's a really cool thing. And yes, what a resource for Cohasset, but also for the South Shore.
Did you have any expectations for last night's event regarding just the pieces and the turnout in general? And did it meet that or exceed it in any way?
I never have sales expectations. For me, it's more about who's going to show up, who will be here, will they connect with the art, what's the crowd going to be like? Are they talking? And all of those expectations were met and exceeded. So we had a great crowd, people that I had never met before. There was a nice hum to the room. People were really spending a lot of time looking at the art. But an opening is just one snapshot. And today, it's a Friday, a random Friday, 10 to 4 that we're open. We've had quite a bit of foot traffic of people just wandering in and really drawn in through the window. They can kind of see what's happening in there. And that's my expectation, that people know that this is free, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4. They can come in, wander around. Donations are gratefully, accepted, but not expected. And you can't get this south of Boston. This is a really awesome experience. People think that this is Boston only, museum only, but no, it's right here in our community. It's such a resource.
And I agree with all those points. It's definitely such a treat to have this locally, and I think a lot of people need to realize that it is here, and it's a great resource for the youth and adults in any ages. As always, we love covering everything that happens at the South Shore Arts Center, so please keep us in the loop about anything that's happening in the future. I'm sure the public would be really excited to hear about new things, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of support.
Will too. Thank you, Catherine.
Of course.